So this is a part of the restating of the terms for clarity, and it goes into some very important points. First one is pointing of the finger and malicious talk. So why is this so important? It seems almost like petty. Hey, don't point your finger and have malicious talk. You know, your mom probably told you, don't point your finger at people, you know. So actually this is a very, very debilitating force in a lot of businesses, in a lot of organizations, and very debilitating for a lot of teams. So usually the pointing of the finger, when it's pointing out, it has to do with blame, you know. When it's pointing in, it has to do with taking credit. You know? So if something bad happens, I'm going to point out. Something good happens, I'm going to say, hey, yeah, you know, our sales are up, or whatever, you know. And so this pointing of the finger, assigning blame or taking credit, can be very destructive for, you know, for an organization. It tears down trust, right? It also tears down generosity. It tears down compassion, you know. And in a way, it probably tears down the image of God in a person. They made a mistake, you know. And it can be so strong that that person may feel like they are a mistake, you know. So this is a very important point in a business. So we're going to try to do away with that. In our business, you know, we try to say, let's say, for instance, in a hypothetical situation, let's say somebody painted something light gray and it should have been dark gray. So our quality assurance leader is not going to tell our customer, the painter made a mistake. You know, he's going to say, I'm sorry, we made a mistake. Right? And usually almost in an organization, when a mistake happens, there's enough blame to go around for everyone, you know. Maybe Mark didn't get the supplier to label properly or in bold enough letters so that we could tell what was light gray, what was dark gray. Maybe the inspector didn't catch the problem, you know, so we're all a part of it. So if we can all share in the responsibility, you know, we can all share in the credit of what goes right also in an organization. So it's very important. You know, sometimes our tendency to point out what went wrong kind of crosses the line. Sure, we need to look at what went wrong. We need to look at our procedures. We need to do lessons learned and all that. But assigning blame can be a very destructive force in an organization. And then the next one is malicious talk. Gossip is probably one of the most destructive forces in teams. You know, it's this thing where, you know, in Christian circles, it's like, let's pray for so-and-so because blah, 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 you know, is going on in their life. Okay, so that's just malicious talk and clothed in spiritual jargon. You're not really wanting to pray for them. You're wanting to talk about what they need prayer in, right? So we would definitely avoid that. So one of the ways of dealing with this, and we're still working on it, this is a challenge, is that if someone is speaking poorly about somebody else or a circumstance or a situation that involves somebody else, we try to cut that short immediately and say, well, who are we talking about? So-and-so. Okay, well, just a second. Let's call so-and-so and have them join our meeting, you know, and then all things will be clear. And it's amazing how malicious talk will change the tone. Sometimes it disappears altogether. People are very reluctant to talk poorly, especially if they're changing things or embellishing bad things or whatever. If the other person is present in the room, the topic, it just changes, you know. So we have to deal with things that go wrong within our organizations. But a truthful conversation about shortcomings is totally different than malicious talk. We try to say, hey, you know, you speaking bad about someone is not going to lead to their termination in our company. You know, we value justice, and all things will be brought to light. So if you're bringing something that's not totally truthful, then you better keep it to yourself because it will come to light. And so this way, you know, we can have constructive talk instead of malicious talk that destroys and tears down.